Hi, welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy. I hope you're doing well today. So today I have some interesting stuff I want to go over with you. I better put on some better glasses so I can see here. All right. So today I want to talk about the 12 archetypes of the cosmic wheel. We were talking about this yesterday. We were going over this and we were talking about these cycles, how they're contracts with and these different time segments. Now, when I was talking to you about this yesterday, I was talking about how we have 12 clicks in each one of these segments, and each one of these segments is 2,500 years, and one of these completed is 30,000 years, and it goes back up here onto the ages, and it makes one of an age. Okay, so each one of these ages is 30,000 years, and then this combines all the way to make one complete cycle of 360,000 years. Okay, so we have completed all of these cycles, and we're at the last cycle. We're at the 13th hour. Okay, all right, so today I want to go more into these different I'm going to call them archetypes, just so we don't get too controversial here, but it's coding. It's the codings. People have certain kind of coding, and it has to do with all of these different types. Okay, this kind of leads into like the Queen's coin, the Beast coin. This is all the coding that that family has. I have all of that coding too. I have all 13. There's 13 codes, not 12. In the Chelontic material, they teach you that there's 12. But there's actually 13, and the 13th is, and it ties in with the African genetics, and also has some other genetics, but most of the 13th comes from the African genetics. Okay, so I'm going to go over these different archetypes or coding that shows up in this wheel. Okay, now all different people on the planet carry different kinds of codes. It depends on where you're from, your ancestry, souls choose to come in and inhabit these codes. So these are avatar suits that we select to come into to embody certain numbers of codes. Okay, so you elected this. Okay, all right. Okay, so this series is just gonna open up a whole. I mean, this morning I had such a huge, I can't even tell you, I had such a huge emotional purging after this information came to me. You know, the last 3 nights I have been so heavy in astral space, and I've woke up absolutely exhausted for the last 3 days, and my head about to explode. I mean, even my son has a headache today. But it's like I'm getting so many downloads. It's like all coming in, and it has to come out. It has to be told. And this is probably why after doing these videos for 2 years, that finally I'm starting to cross-collaborate with other people to get the information out. It's because this is time. All right, so this is the time. Now, these different codes, we have 13 of them. In Chelontics, they teach that there's 12. There's 13. There's one outside of the 12, okay? I've talked about the mother's loom. So we're going to talk about the 12 archetypes, or the coding of the cosmic wheel, and the hidden 13th. So we're exploring the structure behind everything, the 12 archetypes or code, 12 types of coding, the 12 tribes, like what they talk about in the Bible, the 12 tribes that make up the cosmic cycle, and the hidden 13th archetype that sits at the center of the wheel. So these aren't labels, okay? This is how patterns that humanity moves through together. So the cosmic wheel of 12. All right, so these are the 12. We've talked about the garden, right? The garden is the origin. Okay, the phoenix, this is the solar purification. Okay, so then we have the third one here, which we talked about in the vapor, right? These are the wolf, lupine, serpent lineages, and these are the in-betweens, or the gatewalkers, okay? Then you have the Leviathan, which is the water, the heart waters, and then you have what we'll be going into after the Leviathan, which is the Dawn. Okay, you've heard of the Celtic Order of the Golden Dawn. Well, they'll try to put in the inversion of that, the Celtic Order of the Golden Dawn, because Dawn is an archetype. Dawn is coding. Okay, this comes from the White Lion of Mortimer on the Queen's Beastie coin, but this is a signification of rebirth and transition. These people that are coming in with the coding for this, you will be the new children. You will be these are the indigo kids. These are the kids that are taking us into this transition after Leviathan. All right. 6 is Aeon. And this is frequency and revelation. The seer. The seer is the vision or the third eye. The crown is sovereignty. We have the loom, which is pattern weaver. We have the womb, which is the sacred feminine. 11 is the seed, which is the DNA primordial memory bank. And then we have 12, which is the void before creation. But what they don't talk about is the 13th. And I told y'all a while back that we were going to reclaim 13 and we were going to start using 13 and talking about 13. So 13 is not an unlucky number. 13 is the number of the primordial mother. Okay? So 13, the archetype 13, or if you have the coding for 13, the 13th strand, right? This is the rhythm behind the 12. This is the root axis of the world tree. 13 is the missing frequency, and it comes from Africa. The pulse of life and the heartbeat of the world. The heartbeat, the drummer, the timekeeper, the ancestral memory. This is the 13th frequency, the 13th strand, the 13th archetype. Okay, this 13 is the most important. So people that have African genetics, do you understand now why the matrix has been kicking you in the teeth? It's because you're the 13th. You're the drum beat. You're the outside of the loom. Or you're the inside of the loom. See, this is what the 13th is. So there is one archetype that does not sit on the wheel. It sits beneath it. It is the pulse, the heartbeat, the axis, the archetype that turns the wheel itself. The Axis Mundi, the drum, the rhythm, the pulse, the first mother, the center of the world tree, the circle behind the 12, the loom walker, the timekeeper. This is not a cycle. It is a presence that guides the cycles, guys. Wake up. It's time to wake up, everybody. The 12 archetypes are spokes. The 13th is the wheel itself. Okay? We have to merge all of these codes. We have to awaken. We have to bring the primordial template back. We can. We just need to remember who we are, folks. We just need to remember. Okay, so 12 is the diversity of the human experience. 13 is the unity behind all experience. The 13th archetype holds rhythm, timing, memory, the emotional root, the root of the tree. The place all wounds and healings begin. Now, if you don't think that they didn't know in the past when they created this AI loop here to wake everybody up, that the ones that were the 13th, they were going to get woke up the strongest and the hardest. And you're going to be in this AI artificial timeline. You're going to experience a life quite similar to what I've experienced. You're going to be targeted by a lot of off-worldly things, a lot of extra dimensional things. But you also have a lot of support too. But you need to understand that you have to call on your ancestors. This is what ancestral worship was all about. Okay? It was talking about connecting back to the womb, connecting back to the mother. This is why when my grandmother, see my grandmother, my mom's mom, she has African genetics. She has French it was her my French grandfather married an African, a West African woman. And they had a bunch of kids. But I have that coding. I still have African coding. And that's my 13th strand. That's my 13th activation. This gives me all of my 12. It gives me 13. So we're moving from a heart cycle, Leviathan, into a dawn cycle. Dawn is the next step after Leviathan. So, you know, the Leviathan is all about raising the subconscious, uncovering all of these buried memories, all this trauma, all the things that's happened in this three-dimensional matrix that has created trauma on our souls, right? We have to work through that. We have to work through that. It's going to be time for us to put our big boy pants on, for real. We got to get outside of all these emotions, because we're in water right now. And this is emotional depth here. But this is also collective inner work. And so we have to do this collective inner work together, right? So we're going into the dawn. And this is the rebirth in the transition phase. So people carry wounds. All people carry gifts. The 13th archetype is part of humanity that feels all of it, folks. Yep. This is why there are so many Lyrans that are African that are in this lifetime. It's because you are an old soul, and you're coming because you've been through all of these incarnations, all over the galaxy, all over the universe, right? All different times and dimensions, dimensional spaces. But you're here right now, you know? So this is part of your archetype, is one of these, right? And so let's talk about that Queen's coin. So when we talk about the Queen's coin, we talk about how she had these animals on the front of that. The Queen Beastie coin, you have to look it up. There's animals all around the front of it, and then there's a red dragon on it. So I want to talk about what this actually means. It's all about coding. We're going to call it archetypes, but it's all about coding. It's all about coding and where you can go energetically. This is what it's all about. Okay, so we've got our origin, which is the Earth Mother or the Primordial Mother, but that was not on that coin because this is an AI overlay, right? So she's representing all of the inversions. So there's nothing primordial on that coin. Okay. So 2, we've got the Lion of England. Okay. This is symbolically by the phoenix that's on her coin is the archetype. The phoenix is the fire, and this is the Lion of England represents this. This is the solar. This is why they all use the lion. This is why this lion is on here. This is one of my family lines, the Bruce family. They use this blue lion. Okay? It's because they're marking that they have this code right here. That they're carrying these fire codes. And this is represented by the Lion of England. Alright, so then we've got the wolf lines. We've got the Greyhound of Richmond. This is my Randolph line. This makes me an in-betweener. And these are these wolf serpent lines. And this is the SSP programs. They're very much interested in these people that have this bloodline, these coding, because you can go the in-betweens, right? We talked about that yesterday. Okay, so we've got the Leviathan, which is the water. And this is the red dragon of Wales. Now, this is my mom's father's family line. Their last name is Royal, and they come from Wales. All right. 5 is the White Lion of Mortimer. Okay, on the Queen's Beast coin, this is also the lion people. All right, and number 6 is the Aeon, and this is the falcon of the Plantagenet family. And I have this coding as well. And the seer is the griffin of Edward. I have all of these codes in my family line. 8 is the crown. This is the Yale of Beaufort. This is my shared family lines are in the Yale of Beaufort. The loom, which is the pattern weavers. This is the white horse of Hanover. These are the old German bloodlines, guys. The old German bloodlines. My mom's mom, she goes back to Hanover. And matter of fact, they have Hanover here where they were born, which is interesting. And my dad's side also has these old German genetics. So the womb is the unicorn of Scotland. And this is the my Scottish maternal and my paternal side. 11 is the seed, which is the black bull of Clarence. And this is the Norman Plantagenet side of my family. Okay, and we've got the prelude, which is the void before creation. And then we have the 13th archetype, which is the African genetics. And those are my grandmother's family line, French. They were in West Africa. And so they were these French Huguenots. And a lot of them went there in the 1600s. And they were there for a long time. My grandfather, he was a naval captain. And he married a West African woman. And they came back to the United States. They had a ton of kids. They lived here. And, you know, the interesting thing is, this is what made me convinced that our history is a lie, is because I had a grandma who was black and I had a grandpa who was white, and they were just fine. There's nothing, no strife that's noted in my family line about it. And they had tons of kids. But this was before the wars in the 1700s. This is before that. So, and there was no issue with interracial marriage. So you got to ask yourself, what really happened during the historical times? I don't think that it had as much to do with of different races, but it was actually a takeover of society, truthfully. So I think that it's really interesting that we have these archetypes. And so the other thing that I want to talk about, if I can find it in my box real quick, I want to talk about King Cnut. King Cnut was a Scandinavian king who ended up ruling literally the North Sea Empire. The North Sea Empire. He was the king of England, the king of Denmark, the king of Norway. He claimed part of Sweden. He ruled Iceland, the Orkney Islands, and even more than that. So basically, this one guy controlled the entire North Atlantic water corridor, okay? Okay, so my wolf line memory was pinging because I have this Danish-Norwegian background. And these people are all part of the lupine warrior cults long before Christianity was pasted over the top of them. Okay, so there's a famous tale where Cnut sits on a throne at the shoreline and orders the tide to stop. So most people today think the story means that he was arrogant, but it's actually like, in the oldest version, he did it to show his court that no earthly king could command the sea. Only the Divine Mother God could. Okay? And so this water magic, tidal authority, and ancient Seagate lore is disguised inside a Christian moral story. But he's connected to the Mother of Tides, the North Atlantic Gate, and the Wolf Warrior clans, who were guardians of those coastlines. So it's, you know, the North Pole people splitting and certain bloodlines being assigned to different waterways. Not a far stretch for me to believe. Okay, so let's talk about his father and how this wolf line came in. Because Cnut's father was called Sweyn Forkbeard. His lineage traced back to the Ulf, U-L-F, which means wolf clans, and the deeply mythic Skydling line. Think of Beowulf, the shield wolf archetype, okay? So you have this word S-C-Y-L-D-I-N-G, okay? That means shield. S-C-Y-L-D means shield. The name Randolph means shield. So basically that means the same thing as Rand. It means shield. Okay, so Cnut sits right on the intersection of the wolf line, seed line, and the northern ice line. And so these three archetypes are the exact ones that I've been working with. We've got the wolf, the phoenix, and the Leviathan right here. Phoenix, wolf, Leviathan. We're working on this. So basically we had people that were royalty back then that had coding, that were using the coding for its intended purpose. Its intended purpose. Okay. So we have this archetype. We have him falling into the transition between the Phoenix and the Leviathan because he ruled the water kingdoms. He acknowledged the power of the sea over the kings. His empire held the line between the old pagan north and the Christian rewrite. Let's not forget that. And his throne was literally set on the shoreline between worlds. He becomes a human embodiment of the wolf-serpent bridge. So his mother is rumored to be a serpent from the serpent bloodlines. And so this is how he got this double coding. This is how he got serpent coding and how he got wolf coding. So you have to think, if he got serpent coding, then that means that she was more than likely Welsh. And I think that the Welsh people, they go all the way back with the fairy folk and all that, and you're going to find that when these dimensional spaces start opening up and the veil gets thinner and we're able to interact with these spaces, we're going to find a lot of these Welsh people just coming out of nowhere. You're going to be like, wow, I thought the Germans were the oldest, but I think it's going to be the Welsh. I really do. So, you know, we've got Cnut. His name is spelled C-N-U-T. And it's interesting because that word means knot or node. A knot in the lineage, a node on the grid, a binding point between realms, folks. He was a realm walker. So yeah, I'm picking up on that big time. So he goes back to the Skyling Wolf clans, the Sea Guardians, and the North Atlantic Corridors, and the Knot Keepers. So the 12 and the 13th archetypes. We've got the rhythm behind the 12, which is the missing 13. We've got these wolf serpent lineages that are here. So, you know, it's pretty interesting that coding has so much to do with the way that we are progressing into the finality of this timeline, and how all of these activation codes are coming in right now. And it's up to us to balance right now where we're at. We've got to balance this water. We've got to turn it into vapor. We've got to go back to the vapor canopy, and we're going to usher in a new dawn. The White Lion of Mortimer, all of the Lyrans, all of the Lyrans, call to action. All of the African descendants, call to action. You are the 12th and 13th. It's time to get busy. So with that, when you come and find me, I'll be here because we're living in the past, present, and the future all at the same time. So take a look at your body. Look at your marks. Do you got any scars around your eyes, around your mouth? That's your coding. You got any birthmarks that look like snake bites, or a couple moles that look like snake bites? And where are they? It's your coding. Were you born with a birth defect where you have a hole in your spine like I do? That's your serpent coding. You know, or, you know, when you were little, did your eye teeth, did you have something to do with your eye teeth? Because when I was little, I got two little tiny circle cavities that look like snake eyes on my incisors, my lower incisors. And my dentist told my mom that I had surface cavities on my eye teeth. And they look like a snake bite, look like snake fangs. But that was part of my serpent coding. And then this is my mark of Heru. This is my third eye. initiation mark. I got this when I was 3. So you get codes all over you. They manifest in your body. It's your initiation codes. It's when they're getting kicked on. You know, you guys got codes all over. If you need help deciphering your codes, you can email me at hstacy90@gmail.com. I talk to everybody for free. If you have questions, I answer them for free. You don't have to book a time. You don't have to send me no money. This is all information that comes from the unified field. This comes from the primordial mother. And it came to me for free, and I'm not quantum entangling it in the fake AI matrix of the money system. We live in reciprocity, and this is how we're going to step outside of all of this madness. We're going to start embracing reciprocity in every way, shape, and form possible. So with that, I hope that you share the video, like and subscribe if you haven't. Let's get people woke up, guys. We can all do this together. Let's share the videos. Make sure that you know you can speed up these videos by clicking the wheel up in the upper right-hand corner. So get outside today, put your feet in the grass. Give thanks to our Heavenly Father above and our Mother, primordial Mother Earth. Thanks for watching Sacred Enzyme, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.